We are here with the new 8th anniversary EZAs. I do have some complaints, but for the most part, these units look like I wouldn't put them at 1, but they're like 2 and 3 in the game. Um, Maybe you can go 3, 4, but I think with the Spirit Bomb attached to them, that they are obviously 2 and 3. So we're going to go over their EZA, and hopefully we'll be able to use them tomorrow. So this is the physical duo. We do have stages coming out as well, which we'll go over later in another video. Everything should be tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Friday. Today's Wednesday. So yeah, sorry I'm getting this out late. I was asleep. I had stuff to do. Couldn't really stay up to get the details and get a video out. So let's just look at them very quickly. One thing to note here, we'll go over their super attack right here first. They massively stack defense on 12 key and 18 key, which is 100% defense on both of their supers. So attack and defense 300%, pretty good. Guards all attacks, massive. So they're guarding. When HP is 50% or more, attack and defense 100%. So what that means is when they fall below and you get their standby, they lose this. So this isn't really that important. At least you're always going to have this up when you're in this form of the card for the most part. So you shouldn't really have to worry about this here. As the first attacker in the turn, they get 1 key per key sphere obtained. One time only damage reduction 50% and a high chance of evading enemies' attack when receiving a super attack. So basically in slot 1, one time they have the damage reduction and they have a chance to dodge, but in the second or third attacker in the turn, in the second or third slot, they get 2 key per key sphere obtained, but they get one time damage reduction 60%. So I see people complaining about this, but what people I think don't realize, and we're gonna have to wait to see them in game, they're not in game yet, is that you put them in slot 2, right? So you get this one time 60%, and the next turn they come on, they're gonna have like 4 million defense from their supers, and then you put them in slot 1 with the 50% damage reduction and the chance to dodge. So this, I mean, they always have a high chance of evading the enemy super attack. That's not one time, so that's permanent. So you can put them in slot 1 like all the time after that, and they have a high chance to dodge along with their defensive stacks that they've already gotten. But you put them in slot 1 on their second turn, and they have the 50% damage reduction paired with their massively stacked defense from the previous turn. So people are complaining that it's a one-time thing, these damage reductions here, but you put them in slot 2 for one turn, they get 6 million damn near defense. You put them in slot 1 with the 50% damage reduction, they get up to like 8 million, and then on the next turn they have a chance to dodge the super, or you go into the standby. By that point you're probably going into their standby to drop the spirit bomb anyway. So I don't understand why people are making this a big deal. Like, this is beautiful design. Yeah, does it suck? A little bit, like in terms of they could have made them the best unit in the game and gave them damage reduction on top of their massive stacking and all this other stuff, right? Like they could have just made them far and beyond the #1 unit in the game. But it's like they have to balance the game somehow, and still they are crazy. So when receiving an attack, they get 50% defense, more defense on top of their stacking and their numbers here. But this is permanent. So it activates one time, and then it's permanent for the entire fight. When attacking with 12 key or more, attack 150%. So they're going to be hitting a lot harder, which that was the problem with this unit compared to the SS4s. Don't get me wrong, the SS4 stack attack, but this unit, like, you'd have to get them all their links up. Keep in mind they came out in the 8th anniversary years ago, but they would only hit like 10 million. I have mine rainbowed, and like I would have to get them perfectly linked up, all 4 supers, and then they would finally hit 10 million, which at the time was pretty good. But like I said, the SS4s just hit way harder. So this will help them out a lot in terms of being equal in damage until, of course, the SS4s build up. When attacking with 18 key, they get an additional super attack. With 24 key, they get another super attack, and one time only, when you get 24 key, they get another super attack. So right there, that's 3, 4, right? Well, this is 3 here. So one time they get 4, right? 4 guaranteed supers with 24 key, as you can see. So they'll get their 1 from their 18 key, their normal. Then they get um an additional here with 18 key, so that's 2. They get another additional super attack with 24 key, that's 3. And on that turn, one time they get 4. And then if you have them with dupes, or even if you just put an additional equipped on, they're going to get another additional, which has a chance to be a super, not guaranteed, but they can do 5 supers like their first turn with 24 key. After this runs out, they can only do 4, but still massively stacking defense. This is going to be crazy for them. And for every attack performed, key plus 2, which is infinite, so they're always going to be at 24 key, so you're almost always going to get the 3 supers and their 4 super turn. And chance of performing critical hit, this is important, 20% up to 100%. So that's 5, right? So basically their first turn, at the end of it, they're going to be 100% crit. So when you're building this unit, no crit, none. For me, I have them at like 20 dodge, 25 additional or something like that. I have their dodge turned all the way up because there's no point in giving them crit, and their additional should be, you don't have to give them too much additional above, in my opinion, 15 to 20, because each of the additional supers that they're getting is going to proc their hidden potential system additional. So basically it's going to proc every time. So on this one, their additional chance goes up. On this one, their additional chance goes up. On this one, their additional chance goes up. So you don't need to like go to 30 additional or anything. So for me, I prioritized attack equips, defensive equips. Of course, you should give them raw defense because they're stacking raw defense. So raw defense, number 1. Raw attack, number 2. Additional 3. And dodge 4. Dodge is like their secondary power, just to pair with this, just to make sure, just in case that they dodge it, but they should be totally fine with eating most things in the game. So if we go over, we have their attacks, which we already talked about. They're 12 and 18 key, both massively stack attacks, so we don't need to talk about that. I mean, massively stack defense, which is 100% buff. It's crazy on all of their supers, 18 and 12 key. So they're going to be at crazy numbers here. So now if we go over to their standby unit, which is insane. They can't attack, obviously, because they dropped the Spirit Bomb. Defense, 500%, which is up from their base card. For 4 turns from the character's entry turn, guards all attacks and changes key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres. So they're creating rainbow key spheres, which is amazing, and this is also a great part of their kit. From the 5th turn from the character's entry turn, 1 time do they change key spheres, all physical to rainbow. So what this means is, when you're about to drop their Spirit Bomb, if you can hold out to the end, what ends up happening here is that they're going to change the field, and if you put them in slot 3, you give the first 2 attackers in the turn all of the key spheres. They're going to be at, so the way that their standby works is you need to give them key for them to build up the Spirit Bomb. So they're going to be at like 100 something key, and their Spirit Bomb is going to like one-shot most bosses, even at full HP. Especially if they crit, which, as we talked about in this part of their kit, they have 100% crit by the time you get there. So this card is, or this Spirit Bomb is going to be amazing. It's going to drop so much damage, and so will the SS4s. We'll get there. But this unit in particular, with the changing the key spheres, I feel like this is very underrated. You are going to get them massively buffed for their Spirit Bomb, and it's going to kill most bosses in the game. So for every key sphere obtained, they get damage reduction 11% up to 100%. So basically you need to get them 10 key spheres, which isn't that difficult when you think about it, because they're changing rainbow. And even if they're only at 80-70%, they're stacking before this, and they have 500% defense with guard. So they're going to tank everything in the game. There's nothing they're not going to be able to tank. It really doesn't matter how much, like how difficult the boss is. Once you hit this form, you're good. You can put them slot 1, put them slot 2, slot 3, wherever the boss is supering, and they'll be perfectly fine. 7 or more key spheres obtained. Attack 77% and performs a critical hit. We'll talk about that in 1 second. And when the finish effect is activated, attack 888%. So now this is confusing to me because I think this just means when you use the Spirit Bomb, they also get 888% attack. So meaning their Spirit Bomb just hits stupid hard. But I wonder if the turn you exit the Spirit Bomb, by some chance the boss is still alive and you get another turn with him, or you're in festival battle and you just happen to get this. I'm very curious to know if this stays the one time on their card. So like the boss is still alive, he has like 3 health bars left somehow after the Spirit Bomb. When you go into their base form here, when you go into this card again, when you go into regular, if they still get this attack buff, which means they'll hit stupid hard and make sure you kill the boss on that turn, right? So I doubt it, because it's not a part of this unit's kit. It's this unit specifically, their standby. However, we'll see how it works in game. But back to this, the 7 or more keys first obtained, permanent attack 77% and performs critical hit. Basically means on their Spirit Bomb, when they use it, again, we already talked about it, with this right here, with the key spheres while they change everything, and with the attack 888%, plus an additional 77%, they are going to hit the hardest in the game. I don't think any standby, active skill, anything is going to hit this hard. This is going to be ridiculous, and performs a critical hit, meaning guaranteed crit on their Spirit Bomb. Again, massive damage, going to kill like every boss in the game. There's no way they survive that. So yeah, this unit, just to quickly go over, I wanted to do it after, but I just wanted to show you guys real quick. There's one thing I can complain about. We got Cam and Mace here, hilarious. My thing is, if they wanted to go above and beyond, which the 11th anniversary, I'll make a separate video once everything's over. I'm not making 11th anniversary videos like how I feel about the celebration while it's ongoing. I think that's stupid. Once it's done, I'll make a video and talk about how I feel about the celebration, which I've voiced some of my opinions in previous videos. I'll talk about it more in that. But I wish they would have made these units by far and away the best units in the game. Like, just no doubt about it, they are overpowered. They are the best units in the game. I feel like it would have saved the anniversary a little bit, and part of that, in my opinion, is letting them both stack attack and defense. Now, this isn't, I'm not complaining about it, because like I said, I think these units are 2 and 3 in the game, or 3 and 4, so I love that. They're great. They're going to be so good in every content you go into. There's nothing they're not going to be able to handle. However, if I kind of feel like if they like really wanted to push these units as the best in the game without question, give this guy stack attack and give the SS4s, which we'll get to, or the GT duo, stack defense. Or at least maybe for 4 turns. Give them a stack attack for 4 turns, or raise attack for 4 turns, or something like that, instead of just this 1 turn, which again, they're still going to be crazy and hit hard, but it's like, I kind of wish they were just like, here's the best units in the game. They have everything. They do everything. They're gonna destroy Festival, you know what I mean? But unfortunately, we didn't get that. But like I said, it's not that big of a complaint. Don't take it as me saying they're bad, or like, oh, I wish they did different. I don't wish they did this different. I just kind of feel like it really would have helped the 11th anniversary, just making these 2 units like the best cards in the game. So let's look at the SS4s. So their passives a little bit longer, but not really. So attack and defense 300%, good. Guards all attacks. They both guard, amazing. They have the same thing the physical duo does, 100% when HP is 50% or more. Again, not that big of a deal, because once you fall below that, you will go into their standby, so you'll always have this up for the most part when you're using this units in their base form. As the first attacker in the turn, they get the key, damage reduction rate, and chance of performing a critical hit 30%. So as you're about to see, they have kind of the same thing the physical duo has, where in slot 1 and slot 2 they get damage reduction. The physical unit is higher, but we'll get to why that is in a second. So first attacker in the turn, damage reduction and critical 30%. Second attacker in the turn, they get the same key. One time only, damage reduction rate and chance of performing a critical hit 40%. So before we move on to the next line, let's just talk about this. The reason they don't have as much damage reduction is because the way that this unit worked, even when they first came out, in their passive, they build damage reduction up as they super. So this kind of makes sense that they don't have as much, because they're going to be at like 100% damage reduction either way. So the next line in their passive is what I'll get to, what I think is a little high chance of damage reduction 30% temporarily when receiving a super attack. The reason why this sucks compared to if it was just dodge is because it's a 50% chance of damage reduction. Not like a 50% or 80% chance to dodge. It's a blanket 50% chance for a 30% damage reduction. Does that make sense? So you're half the time gonna have this, half the time you're not going to, and there's no way to tell until they get supered. So you're gonna put them in a slot and be like, oh well, let's see if they survive or not. Now this isn't that big of a deal, like I said, because they're building damage reduction as they're supering, which is down here, which we'll get to. So they're basically at 100% damage reduction with their built up damage reduction that they get from supering. It's not 100, it's 80, but you understand what I'm saying. Like, they're gonna be almost invincible as well, as long as you get this. If you don't get this, they'll still be fine defensively, but they might be able to get hurt some turns, but they should be totally fine. And again, it's from supers. Normals are not going to be able to hurt these guys, not at all. So just real quick, if you put them in slot 1 without them supering, they are at a 30% damage reduction on top of guard, and if they get the high chance, or if they stack their supers, with their supers, they can have up to 50%, so that's 80% right there, right? In the second slot, they have 40% damage reduction one time without supering, and if they hit their high chance, they are at 70% damage reduction, right? If they hit this and after they're supering, they can be at 100% damage reduction. For one time, they'll be at 100%. Excuse me. Because you can see they have the base 40% for one time. They have a chance of getting 30, which is 70. And if they super 3 times, which they're gonna super 3 times minimum, they're at 100% damage reduction, because this goes up to 50. So these guys will also be fine. Even without the 1 turn buff, they have a chance to be at 80%. But base 50. So that's still great. 50% damage reduction is amazing with these stats and guard. When receiving an attack, 1 time, but it's permanent after that, 50% defense. When attacking with 12 key, 150% attack. When attacking with 18 key, additional super, so that's two supers. With 24 key, launches an additional super, that's 3. And for 1 time only, they get another additional super. 4 supers, plus if you can get their additional attack from their hidden potential system, that's 5 for 1 turn. After that, it'll always be 4. But if you hit that 5, the next part of their passive is, for every super attack performed, key plus 2. So like I said, they'll always, just like the other unit, will always be at 24 key, which means you're always going to get this additional super and this additional super. Damage reduction and critical hit up to 10% per super, which means 50%, and that is permanent. So once they hit 50, you can't stack it anymore, obviously. But if you get lucky on their first turn, they'll be at 50% damage reduction. That's it. Like, you don't need to super anymore. They have all of their all of their damage reduction built up. Perfectly fine. They'll be also getting defense on their super, which we'll talk about in a second. And they have a critical chance up to 50% also. So they're going to be critting most of the time. But the important thing about this here is that even if you don't get this, on their second turn, or on their first turn, if you're not lucky and don't get the hidden potential system additional, they're still at 40% damage reduction. Or at base 30, their slot 1, and keep in mind, if they get supered after, this is all in effect on their first turn. Whether you put them in slot 2 and they have 40, or whether you put them in slot 1 and they have 30. On top of, after they super, they get, at least they're getting 40, right? So that's 80, that could be 90. Again, if you get the high chance, 100% damage reduction. So these guys are going to be perfectly fine. And if we get to their super attacks, the one thing they don't do, here. Why doesn't it have the stats on this one? Okay, but basically, they don't stack defense. But what they do get on their 18 key is greatly raised defense for 4 turns. Now, this is what I'm talking about. On the physical units, I wish they would have gave them stack attack for 4 turns. Because if they would have got that, then they would be, you know, like I said, like above and beyond the best character in the game, especially if they stacked. But this 4 turn greatly raises defense for 4 turns. Not gonna lie, they kind of need this. The other unit doesn't really need it. They would be so overpowered with the stacking attack, but like I said, I wish they would have just gave us the most overpowered things in the game. They get this on 18 key. The reason this isn't as crazy, but it's very strong, is because they don't get it on their 12 key. So firstly, they stack attack on both of their supers. So 18 and 12, they both stack attack. But on 18 key, they get 70% stack. And on their 12 key, I think this is 30 or 50. I have to check the procs again. But basically, they're not stacking as high defense as the physical ones, but they are getting attack on both supers, which is great. They always had that. And alongside of their 18 key, giving them defense for 4 turns. So defensively, like I said, after 1 turn, they're going to be perfectly fine. And then you get them on the second turn, and you either put them in slot 1 or slot 2. Probably slot 2, honestly. You put them in slot 2, and they're going to have the defense from their first turn and now this second turn to build up. So like, this unit defensively is going to be perfectly fine. The physical duo might have certain scenarios where they're going to get hit once they run out of all their damage reduction, but this unit here, like I said, on top of their already built-in damage reduction from their supers up to 50%, and the greatly raises defense for 4 turns on their 18 key, they are going to be perfectly fine. So that's enough for their base kit. If we go look at their this unit here, we'll look at the super on the Spirit Bomb unit first. So on super, this is kind of crazy. Raise attack by 70%, and again, they also raise defense for 4 turns. The reason why this is crazy is because this unit is a revive character. So the other standby, the physical duo, you give them key, right? And after you give them key, what, to a maximum, I think it's like 50 or 60, or maybe 40. You can, of course, go higher to juice it more. They launch a Spirit Bomb, and that's it. This unit needs to die, or an ally needs to die, for them to get their Spirit Bomb off. The problem is, if they're raising defense for... These guys were usually, in the old days, these guys were the ones that would die. Like, they had no defense. So you would put them in, like, slot 3, let them, you know, give their... They buffed the turn, which we'll get to. It's part of their kit. But they always had that. So even in their old card... I don't have them pulled up. Whatever. This video is going to be too long. They basically gave allies attack, right? So you would put them in slot 3, so you let your other units hit the boss really hard with their attacks, and you would see, oh, they're hitting so hard, their numbers are so good. And then you would put these guys in slot 3, have them super once, and then get killed by the boss because their defense sucked. But with this greatly raised defense for 4 turns, in some events, if they don't get supered and they just take normals, they're gonna survive. So the one thing that I think people are missing, because people are also complaining that they're not going to die, you're not going to see the Spirit Bomb, the other units that are around right now are dying. There's a lot of events right now, even the SS4s, UI Goku, like some of the, well, besides UI Goku, I guess, but the SS4s, the new SS4s, the Diamond units, like, there's scenarios where they die. So this isn't that big of a deal. But at the same time, like I said, it's a little bit of a concern because they're giving themselves defense. So there's a chance that you go like 1 or 2 turns and you're not going to see the spirit bomb and the fight's over before you even get to launch this spirit bomb in this form. So it's a little unfortunate. But like I said, all the other, like I said before, this unit was the one that died. Now it's going to be your allies that die. It's not just going to be this unit. It's going to be the other units on the team that are going to get killed versus this one. Probably. We have to see what their numbers look like in game, but right now that's what it looks like. Okay, so anyway, attack 300%. Keep in mind these guys have a super attack. So again, their spirit bomb is on their revive. It's not like the duo who get their spirit bomb on their active and you know, like they can't attack. They're just defensive. This unit actually has a super attack, as we saw here. So attack 300%, and here we go. All allies, key plus 11, so everyone's going to be at 24 key. Mwah, great addition. Attack 110% for all allies. Crazy. Everyone is going to be hitting insanely hard. If you put them next to Daima Goku, Daima SS4 Goku is going to be at like 300 million on some rotations, probably around 250, 200 to 250. He's going to hit so hard if you get them on the same rotation. When HP is 50% or more, defense 150%. Again, why do we give this guy defense on top of the raising defense? No idea. When the character or an ally attacking in the turn is KO'd, so again, they fully recover HP and they drop the spirit bomb. When attacking, 50% attack, and when the spirit bomb is activated, 100% attack. I think their spirit bomb, hear me out, is most times 9 out of 10 going to hit not as hard as the physical duo, because don't get me wrong, this unit is stacking, so they're going to hit incredibly hard, but in most events you're not going to get enough stacks with them to the point where like they're going to be one-shotting a boss. From what I'm looking at in game, it could be different. We can bring them in game tomorrow and they're one-shotting everything, so don't take my words for, you know, like truth. It could be, you know, the other way around, but I just don't see their spirit bomb hitting as hard as the physical duo. However, it's going to still hit really hard. They're stacking attack. They're getting attack here. They're getting attack here. They're getting attack here. They raise allies attack. Like, their spirit bomb is going to hit stupid hard. I just think the physical is going to be way harder just off their stats alone. But again, this unit's stacking. So if the event is long enough, you get them enough stacks, they're going to demolish the boss. Keep in mind, you bring this unit or the physical unit into festivals, and it's over. They're Broly all over again. Like, they're just going to be killing everything in one turn. So I'm very excited to take them into festival. Like I said, these units look like to be 1 and 2 or 3 and 4 in the entire game, or 2 and 3. 1 and 2, 2 or 3, 3 or 4. Nothing below 5. You can't convince me otherwise. Again, they're not in game, but just off these kits, there's no way. And this guy, just to talk about their build, give them full additional and some crit. Full additional, 20, 25 additional, and 10 to 15 crit. That's all you really need, in my opinion. No dodge needed, again, because you want this guy to die. He dodges a super, you know, you're gonna miss out on your spirit bomb. So yeah, that's about it. We should see these guys, tomorrow around the same time. So I would guess we're gonna get these guys. It is 3, as you guys can see in the clock, it's 3 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll get these guys in Eastern time, probably 3 a.m. We'll probably see them in 12 hours from now. I'm most likely going to be sleeping. I have interviews and stuff tomorrow. So tomorrow, unfortunately, I might not be able to get the videos out right away, because I'm going to be a little bit busy with work and stuff. So hopefully when I get back, we're going to do the new stages. We're going to bring them and do their own showcases, and on top of that, we're going to do a festival run. So tomorrow's going to be a busy day, but like I said, just wait around for the video. And yeah, let me know what you guys think of these units. They are absolutely amazing, like I said. Like this guy, do you guys have them number 1 or 2, or is UI still the king? I think UI is still better, but I think you can make an argument for either one of these guys being number 1. Like I said, either 1 and 2. Like I think 2 and 3, and at least 3 and 4. You can't go lower than that with these 2 units. So yeah, thank you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the units.